Hello again my friends, this is the Boiler's Dog and welcome to the channel where I talk, play, rank and review about games on the Evercade, old and new. In today's episode we continue our deeper dive of the Sunsoft Collection 2 with the game Aero the AcroBat 2. I kinda like the original but I did find it very frustrating at times. How does the sequel fare? Let's get stuck in and find out. Evil industrialist Edgar Ector is back in action with Zero the kamikaze squirrel to implement his nefarious Plan B. Aero, meanwhile, finds himself in a strange other world. Who is friend and who is foe, and what is Plan B? Aero the AcroBat 2 is a single-player platform game developed by Iguana Entertainment and released on various consoles from 1994. This is obviously a sequel to Aero the AcroBat from 1993, which if you like this game you can go back and play the original on the first Sunsoft collection. Now what's interesting is there are a few noticeable differences between the two titles. First off, game structure wise, they've done away with the act objectives, like collecting a certain amount of stars that the first game set to every stage. This both opens the game up and makes it less unique at the same time, which is interesting, depending if you were into them, may either make you happy or disappointed. Control wise, it's much the same as before. You can shoot stars if you have them, you have a drill type diagonal attack that you can use straight after a jump and guide it in the direction you want. In the first game this was a bit annoying against certain enemies and initially tricky to get the hang of for first time players. This move has remained intact for the sequel and can be just as annoying against certain enemies. However, this time round we have an extra dive drill move and is activated the same way as the other move, jump first. But this time jump straight over top of an enemy and this move attacks straight downwards. The difference this makes is huge and makes the game so much more manageable and fun, and initially easier than the previous. The stages themselves are interesting, they feel much bigger than before and more twisted in the navigation, but more on that in a bit. Each area visually looks very different from each other and are made up of 3 acts, and each is quite large in size and filled to the brim with secret areas, so make sure to check against all walls and attack walls as well. Honestly, it's ridiculous how many hidden areas there are, and sometimes it feels like the hidden route is the way forward, or maybe it's just a shortcut. Though there aren't objectives to levels, there are optional percentage scores to complete at Act's end. All the food, all the stars, all the enemies killed, which gives you incentive to return and explore the world even more. If you get a high enough overall percentage, you also gain an extra life, so it's worth grabbing everything and killing everything you find. You can also unlock a bonus act per area, and I'm not sure completely how I unlock these if I'm honest, as I unlocked it on some but not others. You can grab a heap load of lives on these stages, so they are awesome if you do unlock one. There are also letters to find. Aero. This unlocks an attempt at the bonus cup game at the Act's end, where you can win an extra life or big score at the end. They're really easy too for quite a while, but towards the end it gets quite fast, so maybe don't blink. Not only is there variety in the look of different areas, there's also at least a bit of variety in what you do in a couple of levels. The second area's 3 acts are all snowball courses with flags to hit and jumps to time, and the final level is set in a moving train, which are both cool, but would have been nice if there were more. There are a few bosses which are interesting enough and take a bit of time to learn how to best, which is quite groovy, and a basic story building up between areas depicted by still pictures and text, which is quite charming. Right, that's all the groovy stuff out of the way. Now, onto the frustrations I found. There are still annoying enemies, just like the previous game, though the downwards move does really help in some cases. 3 acts felt too much for me for each world, and maybe a bit of padding, 2 would have been sufficient. Though I appreciate with only a few overall areas, the game would be much shorter. Also, in individual acts, I found some elements a bit frustrating. The bells where you have to grab the cord beneath and swing across, having to time both the jump and diagonal attack just right to grab the next one, and it can on a few be very difficult to get just right. Also, the later sections are all very twisty, mazy affairs. I mean, even when you reach the next area, it's just a lick of paint on the most part, with the same trying to find your way to the exit, coupled with frustrating sections, makes the last quarter of the game a bit of a slog until you reach the cool refreshing train section. Overall, I did enjoy this game on the most part. I like exploring, especially in the earlier part of the game, finding secrets and routes. The enemies aren't too annoying or the layout, so it's just fun. But the later I got through it, the more the frustrating elements made me wish there were only 2 acts. Maybe not quite as awesome as I originally thought my first look play, but there's still a fair bit of fun to be had, and the story sections are quite enjoyable, and that's about it. And if you've made it here to the end of the episode, thanks ever so much for joining me. Leave a thumbs up or comment if you'd like. Either way, I've just chuffed your Patreon in for a goosey gander. As always, I hope you're having the most awesomest days, my friends. And until next time, be sick.